Hello and welcome to the heliosblog. My name is Helios. Today we're going to talk about using protection. This is an extremely important topic which I believe needs to be covered, pun intended. We're going to talk about using protection today. Ironically, we're not going to be talking about it in the usual context, preventing STDs, but in the much more likely context of preventing pregnancy. Here we go.
Enjoying my content? Check out my blog at heliosblog.com. On YouTube, you can support me by liking and subscribing. I'm also on Spotify if you'd prefer a podcast. If you're interested in my books, The Strategist Guide to Seduction and Quotes to Live By, they're available on Amazon. In addition, you can follow me on Patreon at theheliosblog for exclusive content. On with the show.
Why would a woman want to get pregnant in the first place? Many women decide that they want to get pregnant for all kinds of reasons. Here are a few. Number 1, they want a child. Number 2, their friends all have children. Number 3, they want someone to pay them child support. Number 4, they want to be a strong single mommy. Number 5, their parents pressure them to. Number 6, their partner pressures them to. Number 7, their biological clock tells them that it's getting late. Notice how only one of these has the input of a man. Basically, these feelings could hit one of your partners at any time, and if you're not careful, you may just end up with a baby you now have to pay for. That is, even if you don't want the baby, by the way. Save yourself the trouble and protect yourself. Let's elaborate on this a bit more, shall we? They just forget to take their birth control. There are many reasons that women get pregnant, but a common one is they forgot to take their birth control that day. If you let a woman have full control over her ability to get pregnant, with no agency on your part, she could get pregnant without you even knowing and surprise you with it later. You'll greatly regret not having had any choice in this matter at that point. You should certainly use protection in order to make sure she is not getting pregnant with your sperm unless you seriously want a baby. Lots of men throw their lives away because they had a baby at the time they didn't want it. Have agency of your ability to impregnate a girl. Use protection. Approaching the wall. Many women surprise men with pregnancy when they begin to approach the wall. The wall is the time in her life when she knows that the rock star or strong independent phase is over and she has to settle down. Often, it is because she simply cannot command the same sexual attention that she used to. She feels her attractiveness slipping and her fertility window as well, and so she feels she has to get pregnant before it's too late. She then has an oops baby with the current alpha she's seeing. You. Of course, not all women do this, but you should use protection that you've bought yourself to make sure that doesn't happen to you. Some women have even been known to poke holes in condoms they've bought themselves. Don't let this be you. They were in love. Sometimes, some women who feel they are in love, honeymoon phase, decide that it's time to have a baby with the guy they're with, without his permission. They stop whatever treatment they had for birth control without ever telling their partner, in the hope that having a kid with him will keep him around. Obviously, if the guy wasn't using condoms at this point, he would be shit out of luck. You want to have control over your life, and as a result, you need to be using protection with the women you're having sex with. It may not be malicious and may be done with the best of intentions, but you don't want to be paying child support if you didn't want a baby in the first place. Make sure that you're covering yourself. Sperm jacking. I've heard this with regards to NBA players. The athlete will sleep with a girl and throw his condom in the trash at her place. She will then take it out of the trash and try to impregnate herself using the sperm in that condom. Obviously, not all women will do this, but I recommend that you take any condoms that you use with you. This way you can totally prevent this problem from happening. I would hate for a girl to trap you with a baby when you had no intentions of ever having children with her. Sexual pragmatism. Women are sexually pragmatic and strategic in ways that men usually fail to understand. They'll try to impregnate themselves with alpha seed when they're ovulating and take advantage of male beta attention when they're not. As a result, women are more likely to perform sexually risky behaviors when they're most likely to get pregnant. You need to prevent this problem so that you don't end up with a child you didn't want. Once again, it's extremely important to protect yourself. We are not in control of women's actions, but we are in control of our own. Before you have sex with a woman, think of the consequences of impregnating her. If you're not okay with them, cover yourself. Child support. I've mentioned it several times, but basically what you're trying to avoid is unwanted child support. What will happen if you have a kid you don't want is that some women will press for you to be forced to pay child support through legal means. For the next 20 years, you'll be stuck paying the tab for a child you didn't want. Some women actively try to have children with different fathers in order to get child support from each one individually. Obviously, this is a huge problem that we want to avoid. You don't want to be one of those deadbeat dads because you didn't put a condom on. When you control the birth yourself, regardless of the method of birth control she says she's using, you prevent this problem. Chains if you don't comply. In many places in the West, if you fail to pay child support, you can go to jail. This means that the woman who baby trapped you can legally strong-arm you into paying for a child. If you don't want to, it doesn't matter. The law will force you or put you in jail. At that point, you'll wish that you were more prudent with your choices. Prevention is the best cure. Unless you absolutely want a child, use protection for your own safety. Conclusion. I hope that repeating this message as many times as I did helped to reinforce the idea that you need to look out for yourself. If you're trapped in this manner, there is no legal recourse. You'll be strong-armed into paying child support by the government. That would be a terrible result for a man seeking freedom in this world. I'll repeat this again. We cannot control the actions of others, but we can control our own actions. Don't let a dumb decision like failing to use protection be the reason that you remain a slave for the rest of your life. Take care.